see something change in a viable way. So I've been thinking a lot about that and how that fits with service learning. And so what I came up with was another lens to add to what we're doing. I'm just going to introduce the lens as a think piece, because I have some other areas I want to go with you, but I want to share this as a think piece. Is that one of the things, if you look at the ideas you came up with, you're going to see that some of the ideas that you came up with are kind ideas. Would you agree? Ideas that are kind. You know, there's a lot of ways that service is kind, and that's exactly what it needs to be. And sometimes it's helpful, like giving someone a skill they need. And I think that's critical also. We need to do things that are helpful. Like one of my books over there is a book called Somebody Loves You, Mr. Hatch. It's a wonderful book. You know the book? Yeah. I've written it in a play. If anybody emails me, they can have a play. If you want to buy the book on your way out, this is a little sales pitch for the book. You should get it because it's a great book about people being helpful to each other and how much helpfulness changes a community. We can also be compassionate. Sometimes something happens and it calls us to be compassionate. Would you agree? And that's an impetus for taking action. I wouldn't change any of these three. I think they're all important and they're all deserving of our time and our talents and our attention. However, there's one that I think we sometimes overlook, because I think, as I said earlier, that we really are agents of change. My daughter started a company a year ago, and it was really interesting to watch her dive into this startup world of e-commerce. And she was explaining to me that in the world of e-commerce, it's all about being disruptive. And I love that word, disruptive. So I think sometimes service should be disruptive. And not in a way that, I'm not talking about kids in a classroom, but I love disruptive kids anyway. But because they always have something interesting going on. But I'm talking about we need to disrupt and make change so that things don't go back to the way they were. We need to move things forward. So some of that involves policy changing and learning how to take our issues and becoming advocates. There are many, many ways that we can be disruptive. Even little kids can be disruptive by creating deeper relationships and going beyond just let's just parachute in and parachute out. So we need to think about that. So as you look at your ideas, you will be able to say, that might be disruptive. That might be the one we really want to go with. It's important to be kind and helpful, and it's important to be compassionate. Sometimes, let's just do the disruptive work. Does everybody get where I'm going with that? Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I want to do one more thing with you before you're done with this process. So far, how many of you like what we've been doing? And how many of you could see using at least pieces or the whole thing with your group you're working with? Fabulous. So one of the things that's important is how do you share your message with others?